Hello, friends. Hi. Happy day to you. My name is Meg. Welcome back to Haven Hill. If you are following us over on Instagram at all, you know that there has been massive amounts of actually very simple food preservation, but like a lot of it. And what I mean by that, I'm getting ready to show you is I've been working actually for almost a week now, not every single day, but on this project. So now I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. This is our apple tree, our very beloved apple tree. It's getting ready to rain, we think. Actually, I do not need any more rain. Some of my tomato plants are starting to get the root rot just a bit because we have had so much rain. Hence the reason why all the apples are falling as well. Every day we pick up apples, and we're not even picking any off the tree currently. We're getting ready to start that probably tomorrow, because we're just trying to grab everything off the ground and preserve it. So I'm getting ready to take you on that journey of our apple preservation and what I do with, even if we tried picking them off the trees so they wouldn't, there's so many. Cool story about this tree. I shared this over on Instagram, and actually I shared it today on Instagram, but by the time I post this, it'll probably be then tomorrow or the next day. But I remember very distinctly before we moved here. Well, let me rephrase that. Let me actually go back even further. I remember very distinctly when I was a really young mom. We only had 2 kids. We have 8 kids, if you don't know that. We only had 2 kids. I remember taking my kids on field trips when they were in preschool, whatever, to really neat, beautiful apple orchards around here. And we have some really cool ones. And I remember seeing people load up their cars with these crates upon crates of apples for everything that they were going to do with them. And I remember looking at the pricing, which I am sure, and rightfully so, has already, that was, almost 20 years ago. No, that's not true. That was probably 18 years ago, 19 years ago, something around that. And I remember just thinking to myself, I cannot afford this. Like, I see the pricing of these apples, which were absolutely amazing and worth it. And it's like, I can't even imagine being able to spend that on apples. Now, so we would just get our store-bought apples and we would enjoy them. Everybody in my family, even now, still loves apples of pretty much any sort. I'm always trying to come up with new ideas and new recipes. And like this morning, I just made, well, actually, I'm going to tell you. Well, no, I'll tell you now. So, my grandma, I used to bake with her all the time, and my grandma used to make these cinnamon rolls. That's actually what my family's known for in Michigan at their restaurant. If you're new in this space, my family owns a restaurant in Michigan called Rixie & Co. That's my maiden name. I will link it all. I've linked it before in other videos too. And that's what I grew up working in my family's restaurant for many years. My dad and my brother still run it, and it's absolutely amazing. Many of the recipes are originally my grandma's, and not all of them, but that's how it started, and her cinnamon rolls was a big thing. So anyway, over the years, I have such distinct memories of working with my grandma in her kitchen, which is a very simple but beautiful kitchen. My grandma is a very messy cook and baker, as well as am I. You would literally walk in and see her standing in like a pile of flour, and that's Jason takes pictures of me all the time because I do the same thing. It's just what we do. So anyway, so I have these distinct memories of her, and my grandma would always be making up, well, I didn't always know. I thought she was following recipes, but come to find out, a lot of them she just made up. Well, that's where I get it from. And I remember her making these caramel apple cinnamon rolls one fall. And I literally looked at my grandma. I'm like, Grandma, this is the best thing I think I've ever eaten. I love them. I ate lots of them. So I've made them over the years, just how I could come up with them. And then as okay, so now fast forward, we moved here. I'm connecting us all together. Stay with me. We moved here a few years ago. And lo and behold, there just happens to be this magnificent apple tree. Only one. So somewhere around this area, there has to be another one. There happens to be this magnificent apple tree that just needs some love and TLC and some good pruning. And Jace did that. We got a lot of apples the first year, a lot. We gave some away. The second year, hardly anything. And then this year, my mind is blown. We have so many apples. So I just think that's such a cool grace of God. Like, he knew that was on my heart so many years ago. And then without us even knowing, we move here, and then there's that big apple tree. So how this relates to my grandma today, I'm still preserving all of these apples by primarily making two things. We do other things with the apples fresh. We've made apple crisp and all sorts of things, and we'll eat them. My kids are eating them every single day. But my preservation is apple butter, and not a ton of apple butter, but enough thinking forward for 2 years and gifts. And we're giving some to our CSA people next week. Shh, don't tell them, it's a surprise. And then applesauce. I'm making massive amounts of applesauce. So I'm going to take you in here. I'm going to show you how to do that. And this morning I was thinking through everything that I can do with applesauce, which I think there's so much you can actually do with applesauce. But I'm like, I'm going to make caramel apple cinnamon rolls, and I'm going to use applesauce. You guys, the recipe will be coming. They are out of this world. So anyway, stay tuned for that. But right now you're going to come in with me, and I'm just going to show you the most simple way I know how to make applesauce. Let's go. Okay, my kitchen is super dark right now because it is so cloudy. Do you want to be in it? Oh, here. I don't know. You're going to have to jump. Can you jump? There you go. You got it. 1, 2, 3. It's slightly dark, so we'll have to work through that. Okay, so the reason why let me start that over. I am not a canner. I am not a canner in this season. Not because I don't want to be, but because I just really don't know how I would do that in the space that we are in with the time that I have in this season. So for me, when we moved here, we already had a decent amount of freezers, meaning, 2, in addition to this one. So we have 2 outside. We had just saved up and bought cheap freezers. In fact, we're probably going to be getting another cheap chest freezer for meat that's getting ready to be delivered. But anyway, so my primary way that I preserve is actually through freezing. And I am convinced that anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. These are very simple things. And I'm convinced that I enjoy freezing as much as I would canned food for at least some things. So applesauce is one of those. So what I'm going to do is hold on a minute, let me grab them. This is the current basket I am working on. I literally have 7 or 8 crates, just maybe about this size, but they're actual crates full in my garage. Full, you guys. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of apples. So I'm going to tell you what I do, and then you're going to watch what I do. So what I do is I take the apples, I do wash them. We don't spray or anything. The reason they're playing in the fort right now. Can you be just a little bit quiet for me? Mama's doing a video. So I take them, I wash them. Like I said, we don't spray. And then I don't peel or anything. I'm going to show you how and why. This is the fastest way that I have found to do it. I have a couple tools. I am not a gadget person, but I do have a couple tools. So let me show you what I have. Not that I'm against gadgets or anything. It's just, for most of our marriage, we've not been able to afford them. So I always had to find things to do. This lighting is going to drive me crazy. Hold on a minute here. Let's see. So I'm running out of, wow, that's close. I'm really sorry. Okay, that's helpful slightly. And I just always want to find simple ways so it feels attainable to everybody, because I feel like so often people don't do things. They don't try to make things from scratch or whatever it is because they think they don't have X, Y, Z, whatever it is. And I'm determined to say that that's not true. So what I'm going to do, what did I do with my knife? I don't know what I did with it. It probably got put in the dishwasher already. Okay. So these have all been washed already. So I literally take these. I have a Instapot. This is what I have. This was a gift to me. I do love this thing. It is definitely worth it. I've been doing this all day, so that's why you're seeing this very real. I have my food processor, also a gift to me. And then I have this antique If you know, you know. This thing, as an antique, I actually bought it at a resale shop. I paid $30 for this, and it is beyond worth that. It is so fantastic. So, but this is why I don't have to peel. So what I do is I just take these, I chunk them, just like this. I'm not peeling, I'm not coring. This goes to my compost and to my chickens. My sheep sometimes eat them, so truly nothing is wasted. And I'm literally going to fill this up. So I'm gonna work on that, and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so it's full, as you can tell. So when I do each round, I always leave a little bit in from the last round, just for flavoring and for liquid. This one was almost out, so I'm just gonna put, I mean, that's probably a quarter of a cup of water, hardly even that. Then right on top, so this is applesauce, this is not apple butter. Then I'm gonna do, this is a third of a cup in here, but I actually only do about a fourth of a cup of sugar, sugar. You could totally do honey, I'm out of honey. You could do brown sugar, that's what I do with apple butter. And then I just sprinkle on cinnamon, I have it down, it's probably about a really good tablespoon, maybe a touch more. And that is it for applesauce. Then you put on your lid and you just do pressure cook on high for 8 minutes. You want to make sure it's closed. You push pressure cook, it's all set to high, I hear you, high pressure for 8 minutes. Once this is done, we'll go on to the next step. So while we're waiting, I thought I would show you. So this is what I am doing for gifts for people. This is apple butter. This is not applesauce. It's made the exact same way, just a couple extra ingredients. These are the small ones. They're so perfect for that. And then this is also gonna be in our next CSA as well, as a little surprise for everybody. Bloopers. Okay, so let me show you what we have going on here. So it took about 20-25 minutes for the pressure to build, and now the time is going down. So this will be in for another 7 minutes, and then we do just a regular release right away. And I give you, while we're waiting, a little glimpse into some deliciousness. Trust me, my kids have had their fingers in these, that's why they look slightly crazy, but stay tuned. I have some recipes to share with you, and this is going to be one of them. Remember I told you about my grandma's caramel apple cinnamon rolls? Well, this is what I made this morning, you guys. They're absolutely divine. Absolutely divine. I think my grandma would be proud. Anyway, so to show you while we're waiting for applesauce. And it has to do with applesauce because the applesauce is in these. I talk about beauty. I do talk about beauty in this space a lot, but I just want to show, especially all of you young mamas, that my kitchen has been looking like this for days. If you don't know this, if you're new in this space, this kitchen needs to be completely renovated and gutted. It is so challenging to get this to work for our size family. But we are very committed to just using what we have right now until we know we can do exactly what we want to in here. And so we make everything work. Now this giant island, which is still not done yet, this is what my husband made, and this is what everything will be built around, and I'm thrilled for that. But anyway, so we have the apple butter, like I mentioned to you. This is more that's getting ready to go into containers. Those tomatoes are ready to be processed. We have sourdough, sourdough coming out. This is my work surface. This is how I have to do it right now with just our season of life. So as I am working on work things, that's over there. That parchment paper needs to be thrown away. It's gone. Those are the cinnamon rolls that just came out just a little bit ago. More sourdough is in the oven, and it's a disaster. We also get to choose our perspective. So I see beauty in the midst of the total mess as well, because I know what it means for our winter here in central Illinois. That is bitter, bitter cold. Nothing can grow. Okay, so that round is done, and now I literally just take my immersion blender that is currently not plugged in. Let me plug it in. With skins on and all, I am just mixing it all up. And then what will happen, oh, let me go a little bit further. Okay, so then what happens is this skin comes in. Let me see if I can show you some of that. It's in there. Yeah, like right here, you can see the skin. That part, so I used to make my kids just eat it. And they said, please, this year, can we not have that? So now I will take it from here. And if you have a regular blender, this could totally work fine. It really could. But what I take it from my Instapot and I put it in this strainer. It is very different when you're trying to video this. I put it in my strainer. Usually one Instapot is about, you fill it up 2 or 3 times. I'm gonna push it out of the way. And this little guy does its magic. I have a bowl under it. This is what it does. It strains out all of the skin. You can push it down, you can twirl it around. I remember as a little girl standing on a chair in my grandparents' kitchen and doing this. I remember it so well. So I was thrilled when I saw this, and because it has the stand. You could still find a way to finagle it, but it would be a lot more challenging if you don't have a stand. And then once this is done, you take all of the skins that are in here. You can dump them. Of course, I don't. So this is what I mean. There is literally no waste. I compost them. I don't know if the chickens and ducks really go after them much or not, but it doesn't matter whether they do or not. I don't care because it's going to go on my, so this is all of the skin that's left. And now that is really, really hot. So this is always my compost bucket. When you see it on my counter, I take it down usually if we have guests that come. But, you don't realize what you actually get used to seeing when you live out in the country and you're doing stuff like this. So you take that, I take all of this, it just slides right on out, and I'm good to go. Now that is strained, and I can just keep doing that process all over. And what I'm doing right now, as far as, I'm gonna grab a towel. What I'm doing right now as far as how I'm keeping these, because I told you I freeze them. Currently, I'm doing it like this. I am just buying, we don't use tons of paper products. We're not totally paper free, or I should say plastic free in this situation. I would love to buy the reusable ones, but you guys, I would spend a small fortune on them. So for something like this, I still do, once it's cool, I don't put it in there when it's hot. Once it's cool, I put it in here, and then it's going to freeze flat in my freezer. That way I have options. So I can store it, just keep storing it flat. I can store it upright. And I just pull it out when I need one, and I thaw it, and it works really, really well. So that is what I am currently doing. I will freeze things in jars like this. I do have a case that are frozen for gifts that are a little bit bigger. And I even have some quart size frozen as well. The biggest thing there is you just want to make sure that you don't have them filled all the way to the top, because they will absolutely explode. Ask me how I know. Even though I thought I had it less than, I did it with chicken broth a couple years ago. They still exploded. They were also cheaper jars, so take all that into consideration. But anyway, that's what I do. It's simple. And now, why do I go to all of this effort? One, they're ours. They're not sprayed. We think that they're called paradise apples. They are absolutely delicious for eating, for snacking, for things like applesauce and apple butter, apple crisp. They're just really all around such a great apple. We really enjoy it. However, over time, hopefully over this winter, I'm gonna show you all the things that you can do with applesauce. I just showed you my caramel apple cinnamon rolls. Any form of sweet bread, zucchini bread, instead of oil, put applesauce in. Muffins, applesauce muffins. Think about all the things that you could do with applesauce, because anything that you bake that uses oil, put applesauce in it. You enjoy it just as applesauce. And I think I shared this in another video. I feel like I already did, but in case there's new friends here, One thing that we love doing, in fact, we did it for one of my kids for their birthday one year. We had caramel sundaes, hot caramel sundaes, but we turned them into hot caramel apple sundaes, and we made applesauce over the ice cream with caramel. Absolutely delicious. So anyway, get creative. See what else that you can come up with. And I'm putting this much away because I know we won't have apples next year, or if we do, it'll be like a very small handful, like very small. So I hope that feels so doable. You don't have to be a homesteader. You don't even have to cook from scratch that much to try something like this. If you don't have an Instant Pot, use a crock pot. Or how I always did it for years and years and years is I would just bring them to, I wasn't putting this money away, but I would bring them to boil on the stovetop. If you don't have an immersion blender, use a regular blender. A little bit more like, not quite as seamless. When I'm doing it, I'm actually like it's all in order, but it would still work fine. If you don't have a strainer like this, I didn't have a strainer till this year. One, they're not bad. It doesn't taste bad. It's just a texture thing. Find another strainer. Use you can get the pasta strainers that have really small ones. Just use a spoon and push it down. So get creative. Don't let the tools that I use keep you from trying it, and or peel your apples. I'm just convinced that this saves me massive amounts of time. That's why I don't peel my apples. And when I found this sieve, I thought it was perfect. I don't know if you call it a sieve. I actually don't know what you call it. It just works. So, all right. Thanks for joining me. What do you guys want to do with applesauce? Tell me. Give me any of your ideas. I love it when y'all share recipes. So if you have anything that you just love to do with apples or applesauce, anyway, fresh, you thaw them out, whatever it is, share them. I would love to learn from you. So have a good one. See you next time.